Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name's Alana and today you'll be joining me with my recent favourites. It's been a while since I have done a video. I would just use the general excuse of COVID and life getting in the way. But other than that, I've been good. I hope that you have been too. And I just thought we could sit, have a cuppa together with my favourite little dog mug and talk about 5 of my recent favourite reads. Hopefully my house walls are thick enough and you can't hear the voices on the other side because I'm not home alone while I'm filming, so there is also that. So just quickly, so my reading for the last 12 months or so, it hasn't really slowed down and I have been branching out to more genres because it helps me for work if I can read widely. So these top 5 from the last month, 2 month, 3 month, time is a concept that does not exist in my brain right now. There are a mix of genres is what I'm trying to say, because I actually like reading a little bit of everything now. Granted, I feel like my main love, sci-fi and fantasy, has kind of been pushed to the side a little bit. It's very hard to get to backlisted titles now, and I have not finished a book series in a very long time, but that is the nature of trying to keep on top of new releases and what's trending and what I think I can recommend easily. Anyway, let's kick this video off with the first pick that I have to mention, and that is... what is it? Oh dear. The Bluffs by Carl Perry. This is the author's debut novel. It is an Australian set crime fiction and I'm pretty sure it was published last year in 2020. It takes place in Tasmania as a group of 4 girls go missing from a school hike expedition thing. And the thing that is really intriguing as well to do with this is it's kind of like a repeat copycat type crime, because years ago in this town, this strange town where strange things happen, other young people went missing or people have wound up dead, or it's all very nefarious. This one is also told through multiple perspectives, which is something that I really love, especially in crime, I'm finding, because you get different information through each viewpoint and you can see how information is skewed by who's telling it. So we follow one of the fathers whose daughter has gone missing and he's like the local drug dealer. He's come up a little bit hard. There's some trauma in his past, and then you also follow one of the detectives who's just come off a really tough case and is dealing with PTSD. And you follow a bunch of other people as well, but just their different voices combined make this really, really well thought out. And I think it also helps that each of the characters feels fully realized and they each read very individual. It's not like this person sounds like this person. It's very, very well done, and I am excited to read Kyle's next book, which is up there somewhere. I think it's called The Deep. I have a reader copy, but I just need to get there. Once again, time. Bad concept. So this one is just super intriguing because, like I said, you've got the old crime versus the new crime. There's also like a social media presence in there too, because one of the young girls whose sister has gone missing has a really big following. It's interesting to see how that is utilized. I will say that the ending was a little bit open-ended, like they didn't completely wrap up a whole bunch of things. I also listened to this one via audiobook, so maybe I did miss something here and there, but overall, amazing. Book number 2 is one of my highly anticipated reads for this year, and that is Perfect on Paper by Sophie Gonzalez. If that author's name sounds familiar to you, that's because she wrote Only Mostly Devastated, which I loved when I read that, I want to say last year. Maybe it was the year before. When were you published? March 2020. So this is the author's 3rd published novel, I believe, 3rd or 4th, and she's another Becky Albertalli. I love her writing so much. In this one, we follow a girl called Darcy who is the operator of this locker that people can submit their love questions into, basically, relationship advice, that type of thing, and she goes through and checks the locker and responds anonymously. But of course, things go kind of sideways when someone catches her opening the locker one day after school and she kind of has to navigate that. This one is also teen fiction, if that wasn't already kind of clear. There are a few swears in here as well, which was highly entertaining. This is set in America, but there's Australian things put in it, which just had me laughing when I got to those scenes, because one of the characters in this is actually Australian and just mentions weird things that we do, which is hilarious, especially when you're reading it in like an American context slash setting. It was just interesting to see it through someone else's viewpoint, and how when a certain song comes on, like, we drop our pants in the pub, and that's a real thing. That's a real thing. So while this one was super entertaining, it was also multi-layered, because there are some more heavier topics that get delved into, much like in Sophie's other book. There's also a discussion on what it is to be bi when you're in a straight passing relationship, and how this could potentially make it feel like it's erasing some of your identity. It goes into a whole lot of that, and I loved reading that on the page. And although I can't really speak on those experiences, it did sound and feel really personal when I was reading it, and I love this author so much, and I love her writing style, and I love her characters, and they're not perfect, but they're like perfectly imperfect. So if you want a really quick, easy to read teen fiction novel that is hilarious but also deeply engaging, pick this one up, because why not? Okay, on to book number 3. If you want a hug in a book, try Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne. This is the first Sally Thorne book that I've read. She's most well known for The Hating Game and the other one. I'll pop it here. 99%. I don't even know. Brain is not working. Anyway, she's a really well-known contemporary romance author, and I would say that Second First Impressions is light contemporary romance. There's not any heavy sex scenes or anything like that in it. So if you're looking to start reading light romance, try this one. Like I said, it's like a hug in a book. It's funny, it's entertaining, it's lighthearted, but then it's also like really heartfelt as well. And oof, I really liked this one. I actually took this one on holiday a few months back, and it was the perfect holiday read. Especially, I feel like, for the current lockdowny times when you just want to be comforted but you can't leave your house. This is the answer. This is it. Obviously, because this one is a romance, I don't really want to go too far into what it's about, because you already know with a romance that two people are going to enter into a relationship or a romance of some kind. So I don't want to give too much away, but essentially we follow Ruth, who is a 20-something-year-old woman who feels kind of like she's already in her 80s as well. She works at a retirement village, and she runs that and looks after all the residents who have their own houses within the grounds. Two of the older people in this that star in this and like to try and break in their assistants and are really quirky. I love their inclusion in this story so very much. So if you're looking for a comfort read, I would definitely check out Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne. And I'm keen to read more from her now and to see where her other books slot in and how I feel about them. Number 4 is The Girls Ive Been by Tess Sharp. This is the ARC/reader copy. The finished cover looks something like this, but I'ma just hold up what I have right here, and this is amazing. If you liked One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus, this is in a similar vein, very much teen crime thriller fiction. And I will also just preface this by saying there are triggers in this for sexual abuse to a minor. There's a whole lot going on in this, but essentially we have our main character Nora, who is about to walk in at a bank with her ex-boyfriend and her new girlfriend. Things are a little bit awkward, and then things go downhill even worse when the bank starts to get robbed. But what the robbers don't know is that Nora isn't who she says she is, and shit's about to go down. Hey, can you maybe just keep it down a little bit. I think I just heard you say something about no pants on, mother. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Okay, bye. Okay, so I really love this one because, like I said, it's that teen crime thriller that's really starting to emerge at the moment, and it's told over the course of a day, but there are flashbacks to the other girls that Nora has been, these ones. And it's her skill set and how being raised as a con artist can, in this situation, help her out. It's very thrilling and suspenseful, and it's just great. Like I said though, there are triggers in there to watch out for, and I would probably age this one at 16 plus, just because of that element, but a worthwhile read and told in a really cool way of over the course of the day with snippets here and there. And at the start of each chapter, you have like the things that she has in her possession that she could use, and some of the plans that she's attempted and had to, you know, veer away from, or what she's currently planning. It's really cool. And last but not least, number 5 is Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. For fans of Circe, The Silence of the Girls, that type of historical fiction retelling, this one. I present to you Ariadne. I will say, if you're looking for Circe level, it is slightly below that, but it's still a very worthwhile retelling, and I enjoyed this one a lot. You're following two sisters, Ariadne and her younger sister, I forget Ariadne's sister, Phaedra? Phaedra, cool. So you're following Ariadne and Phaedra, and to start off with, it is Theseus and the Labyrinth and the Minotaur tale that's happening, and then we move past that point in time and we get more of Ariadne. Later on we can then get Phaedra, and it has that Greek tragedy setting and feel about it. It really is a honest and sometimes frustrating look into what it was like to be a woman back in those times, and the power that they had and how they could utilize that compared to the power that the men had, and basically how different their stories and paths were. I also really love the comparison between the two sisters because they are very uniquely defined as different personalities, and it's interesting to see how they each utilize different power aspects in their different settings. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I'm really glad that I did not have to exist in these Greek myths, because holy hell, they go through some rough times. But if you're a lover of historical fiction and you're wanting something similar to Circe, which I forgot that I have right behind me right here, if you're wanting something similar to this, Ariadne is a good place to start. So there you have it. Those are my 5 top tier favorites from the last couple of months. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I know that it's been a little while, and it could potentially be a little while longer. I don't know. We shall see how we go. Let me know if you've read any of these in the comments down below, or recommend me something that you've loved recently as well, because I am always up for more recommendations. So thank you so much for watching. I hope if you're in lockdown too, it is going okay-ish at least, and I will see you in another one. Bye!